Hello, and welcome to our implementation plan for Nintendo's new strategic measures. This report's been put together by my friends Takeshi, Lucas, Rodrigo, and my name is Rob. Firstly, as Dr. Angelina Zubak writes, strategic implementation and organizational change are two disciplines that complement each other, and when used in conjunction with one another, superior results will be achieved. That's why the strategy proposed for Nintendo will be implemented through both disciplines with the use of Kotter's accelerators. Through this analysis, the creation of an Office of Strategic Change that's responsible for the implementation of strategic initiatives has been identified as a first step for Nintendo to take. We're implementing 4 strategies: mobile app market penetration, breaking into the Indian market, expanding IP, and finding additional revenue streams. Now I'll hand you over to Lucas to explain the app strategy, and I'll see you later.
The first one is mobile app. As stated in the strategy report, the mobile app segment market share is growing at a fast rate where console market rate is declining. Nintendo has been quite successful with mobile consoles, as the case with the Switch, however, has lacked in developing apps and has relied on partnerships with third-party developers to release the few mobile app games. Therefore, the strategy change office should follow 8 accelerators with the finality of disrupting normal day-to-day operators. The first step is to create a sense of urgency. The app segment is growing at an exponential rate, and console segment is shrinking. Competitors such as Blizzard, Tencent, Rovio have taken the advantage in the segment, but Nintendo has the advantage of having been in the industry for years and being a household name. The position is rebuttable, but action needs to be taken fast. The sense of urgency should first be instilled in upper management, as their support is vital for changes to occur. The second step is to build a guiding coalition. The Strategy Change Office should centralize change initiatives and oversee their execution. However, projects are executed by an interdisciplinary group. This group is to become the Project Change Champions. The group should be composed by members that management trusts will achieve the desired results, and there are no hierarchies within the group. Nintendo should, in this case, create a guiding coalition comprised of members from the following areas: the creative department, that will come up with ideas for games; the programmers, internally and externally, together with partners, for example DNA or C-Gamer; then marketing, they will need a strategy to sell the app; the finance, they will ensure the budget for the product makes sense; and HR will need to develop strategies to sell the vision to employees. The third step will be to form a strategy vision and the initiatives. Nintendo's vision is to put smileys on people's faces around the world. As this is the case, the guiding coalition should have this in mind when developing contentment for the app market. Games should keep the mystique that Nintendo has transmitted through the years. Implementation should focus on developing new content for the app market, as well as taking advantage of the nostalgia that classics such Super Mario Bros., for example. Fourth step, to enlist a volunteer army. HR will be fundamental in this case. They will need to communicate the new emphasis in the app segment throughout the organization. They will need to communicate the strategy to all levels of organization. This can be done in the way that is interactive through the different activities, where employees' engagement can be rewarded with time off, for example. If employees from different areas wish to contribute to the development of the app with ideas, this should be welcomed and directed to the Strategy Change Office. And the CEO should be the face of the strategy and communication it directly to employees, as this will legitimize the initiatives. Step 5. Enable action by removing barriers. Remove inefficient processes and hierarchies to enable better collaboration between Nintendo's creative and developing teams. Communication within the different areas will help solve problems and reduce implementation times. This should be promoted especially between the creative and developing team, as the closer they work together, the better the app and faster it can be rolled out to the market. Step 6. Generate short-term wins. Some people within the organization may not agree with the app strategy, but by establishing KPIs around the initiative, such as number of games developed, downloads, time to develop, revenues, and so on, this can help to convert doubters and attract supporters to the cause. It's also important to celebrate milestones to keep all those involved in the project motivated. For example, like prototype or beta version and so on. Number 7, sustain acceleration. Never, even when a few games have a good reception in the market and meet established KPIs, the process must continue as it transitions from initiative into the day-to-day operations. And the last step, step 8, institute change. The collaboration culture established through this initiative must be integrated into the day-to-day operations. This will happen if accepted results, KPIs for example, are constantly met. So that's the implementation proposal for the mobile app strategy. Step 2. Expansion to the Indian market. In our presentation, we propose that Nintendo should expand its sales network into Indian market. The following ideas are the step-by-step implementation strategies for Nintendo to penetrate Indian market. The proposed plan mainly follows a process which was summarized in the lecture slides of week 8. It's the called opportunities and outcomes of international strategy. First, step 1. Identify international opportunities. First of all, it is necessary to clarify what is the potential returns of Nintendo's expansion to Indian market, or for example, the reason why we recommend India. According to theory, firms can enjoy basic benefits for implementing effective international expansion: increased market size, return on investment, economies of scale on learning, and location advantage. Increased market size. It's a huge population. Entering into Indian consumer market, which has 1.34 billion of population, must be the potential opportunity to increase revenue of Nintendo. The population is projected to rise to 1.51 billion by 2030 and 1.66 billion by 2050. There is also growth in the middle class. As Indian economy is growing too rapidly, the number of middle class people who would be target customers of Nintendo has become more than 600 million in 2016, almost doubled as compared to 2004. Economies of scale and learning. Decrease manufacturing cost. Expanding the India market and increasing sales volume will decrease Nintendo's manufacturing cost because economies of scale. Learning business in emerging market. Shuntaro Furukawa, the CEO of Nintendo, expressed his interest to strengthen its sales in Southeast Asia and Middle East regions in a 2018 media interview. However, it is worth mentioning that Nintendo does not have enough experience in emerging market. Going into India market would be an opportunity for the company to exploit competitors in emerging market. The location advantage is that there are talented IT engineers. IT industry is one of India's key strengths, and the country is well known for its richness in talented IT engineers. Increasing presence in India may increase future chances to hire talented employees who are crucial for software development. Step 2. Explore resources and capabilities. The figure shows that there are different strategies: international business level strategy, multi-domestic strategy, global strategy, or transnational strategy. Nintendo needs to implement the transnational strategy, which means both high level of global integration and localization are necessary in sales network expansion to India market for the following reason. The need for the global integration is really high. Nintendo's products, game consoles and software should be highly standardized across country and markets. Nintendo's customers throughout the world are assumed to have similar needs. Need for local responsiveness is also high. The language, characters, words, audiovisual, and game software need to be translated to local language. Some expressions, proper nouns, roots, features in game software may not be accepted in other countries due to the culture or religious gaps. Step 3. Use core competencies, or the mode of entry. There are different modes of entry, for example, exporting, licensing, strategy alliances, acquisition, or the establishment. In order to determine which strategy would be the best for Nintendo, we propose to use the OLI model. The ownership, location, and international advantage frameworks figures out which entry mode is the most appropriate for Nintendo to expand to Indian market. Step 1. Ownership advantage. Yes. Nintendo's global success in the past indicates that it has competitive product lineups which overcome a set of costs that arose from global expansion. Step 2. Location advantage. Yes. As mentioned in the international opportunities analysis, the market in India obviously has location advantages with the IT engineers. Step 3. International advantages. Also yes. Since Nintendo products are globally standardized, it is necessary to keep consistency in pricing and promotion strategy by internalizing marketing part of value chain. Controlling quality of after service is also important for Nintendo to maintain long-term customer loyalty. Therefore, the FDI, foreign direct investment, will be the appropriate entry mode for Nintendo to going into India market. As new wholly owned subsidiary, or the greenfield venture, requires too much time and risk, starting sales and network expansion from strategy alliances with a local retailer would be the most reasonable mode of entry. Now I give back to Rob. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lucas. Gemmowart's cage analysis framework can categorize and outline potential problems and risks in global business expansion. The first distance he speaks of is cultural distance. Religious affiliation in India is totally different from that of Nintendo's home country, Japan. In India, about 80% of the population are Hindu. About 14% are Muslim, and only about 2% are Christian. This means that expressions in game software should be carefully vetted to see whether they're religiously acceptable. In terms of demand cycle, strong demand for game products during Christmas season may not occur in India due to these religious differences. Language gaps are another cultural difference which may lead to problems. There are 29 different languages in India that have over 1 million native speakers. This makes decisions about translating game software into all or some of these languages a very critical decision that needs to be processed. The second distance is administrative distance. Political stability in India is ranked at 160th out of 195 countries. This is relatively a lot lower than Nintendo's other business areas. Since statutory regulations against foreign companies are also strict, the expansion depends on whether Nintendo will be able to find and make alliance with well-experienced local retailers. The third distance is geographic distance. Most of Nintendo's game consoles are manufactured in Japan, which is one of the biggest trading partners that India has. It's necessary for Nintendo to build a new logistics chain between these two countries if they are to succeed. Nintendo should also consider manufacturing in India to take advantage of producing at the market for additional cost savings. The last distance is economic distance. The Indian market is relatively riskier compared to Nintendo's other major markets. The economic situation in India is changing drastically. For instance, CPI in India has risen by more than 60% between 2010 and 2017. Hence, cost structure and pricing strategy should be carefully monitored throughout the project to keep profitability in the Indian market. Which brings us to our third strategy, expanding IP. Nintendo's mid to long-term corporate business strategy focuses on expanding the number of people who have access to Nintendo intellectual properties. To achieve this goal, we believe not relying too heavily on existing content, but increasing the volume of Nintendo IP would be very important for the company. Hence, we propose that Nintendo expand their IP lineup by introducing new characters for new generations. Since creativity and unprecedented ideas will be required in an IP expansion, it's necessary for Nintendo management to mold the organization to increase opportunity of innovations. The following 4 variables are the most studied potential source of innovation. Flattening organizational structure. Not only Nintendo, but most of Japanese companies have hierarchical organizational structures. Although hierarchy has several advantages, it is less flexible and not appropriate for a company trying to be innovative. For instance, Valve Corporation, an innovative PC game developer, completely eliminated hierarchical structure from its corporation. It's called itself Flatland, which does not have any boss or subordinate. We propose that Nintendo flatten their organization to facilitate innovative ideas. The next is long tenure management. Maybe not that long. The longer tenure in management increases managerial legitimacy and consistency, and it will encourage innovation as a result. For instance, the current CEO of Walt Disney has been there for 13 years. During that period, the company releases new animation movies starring new characters every 2 or 3 years. In June 2018, Shuntaro Furukawa succeeded the CEO of Nintendo. We expect that he will take long tenure in management and encourage innovative ideas. The third is slack resources. Having resources to spare allows an organization to invest in innovative ideas and to absorb non-profit failures. Nintendo's balance sheet shows its richness in financial resources, remarkably high financial stability. It has no short or long-term debt, and an abundance of cash with over 750 billion Japanese yen. Since cash flow statements show that enough amount of cash is spent in investing activities, nearly 10 billion Japanese yen per year, we recommend the company keeps these financial indicators as they currently are. Now, inter-unit communication. Encouraging interaction across business divisions can also facilitate innovative ideas. Global innovation companies like Google or Facebook approach the issue by having unique designed free address workplaces. These open offices help employees to be creative and innovative. This will be a part of a strategic implementation plan for Nintendo to expand its IP lineup. The final strategy is finding additional revenue streams. Again, Cotta's 8 accelerators will be used to form the implementation plan. The first step is creating a sense of urgency. Nintendo is a brand that transcends the video game industry, and given high competition in that industry, they should seek other revenue streams as a competitive, strategic plan to promote the brand, new products, and to fund R&D. This will provide Nintendo a competitive advantage over its competitors and even help promote its incursion into the app world. The second step is building a guiding coalition. Initiatives like Super Nintendo World, a Nintendo cruise line, movies, and television series are to be developed in conjunction with partners whose expertise resides in these fields. The best alternative in this case is to charge royalties and licensing for the use of IP. The Strategic Change Office in this case should be the one coordinating between key areas in the company, such as marketing, creatives, and finance, and third-party providers such as Universal Studios, Carnival Cruise Lines, or Netflix. Marketing is key in this role, as Nintendo has an image and values that it wants the brand to be associated with, and hence should establish parameters indicating how the brand and its characters can be used. Creatives work in conjunction with partners to develop the initiatives providing ideas, such as possible rides for the theme park, a Super Smash Bros. Roller coaster, or maybe structuring the cruise theme and activities and implementing a Mario Kart race course. Finance need to establish forecasts of expected revenues and keep track of KPIs. Step 3, to form a strategic vision and initiatives. As we've already stated, the vision of Nintendo is to make people smile. The alternative revenue streams in this case fit within this vision, but all future alternatives and initiatives should be aligned with it also. Step 4, to communicate vision and strategy. The CEO should be the face of the strategy and communicate it directly to employees, as this will legitimize the initiative. A special event can be done with each initiative, and employees can be incentivized by having a competition run by HR in which free passes, trips, or tickets to premieres are given to employees. The message should always be that these initiatives will help the company grow and will complement the video game sales, the core business. It will also help consolidate the app segment and help promote future ventures. Step 5 is empowering action. Communication with the different areas involved will help solve problems and contribute to the success of the project. Communication between Nintendo and its partners should be open and constant. Furthermore, the strategic business unit should welcome ideas from other areas and work them out with the guiding coalition to later work with external partners on them. Step 6, to generate short-term wins. To keep morale high and see that the initiatives are progressing, special milestones should be established. These include for the theme park, when plans are finalised, or when a mock-up is constructed, or maybe the day that soil is first turned, there should be a celebration. With a cruise line, again, when plans or mock-ups are constructed, or maybe when a permit is obtained, a celebration should follow. And if there was movies and TV series, when scripts are written, when casting commences, or even the day that filming commences, there should be a celebration. This will maintain momentum with all those involved. Step 7, to sustain acceleration. Seeking new revenue streams should be evaluated and pursued by the strategic business unit regularly. This should form part of the culture, and within the company, it should be a way to fund R&D and help position the brand even more positively. As with apps, this will happen so long as the initiatives prove to be successful. And the final step, to institutionalize change. It's worth noting that strategies should be evaluated and discussed by management regularly, weekly if possible, and this will help everyone in the organization to work towards its successful implementation, the goal of making Nintendo the best it can be. Thank you very much for listening to our implementation plan on Nintendo. We hope you enjoyed it.